Antiwar.com reports in addition to the 10 detainees actually charged with something, Guantanamo Bay continues to hold some 66 detainees totally uncharged with any crime. These detainees have been held for years, many over a decade, and many for no real reason. Musab Omar Ali al-Modwani, a 36-year-old who arrived at Guantanamo Bay some 14 years ago, did not do anything. Captured during raids targeting foreigners in Karachi, Pakistan, the Pentagon assumed he was part of a 6-person al-Qaeda cell in Karachi, so named because they caught 6 people. Lacking evidence, officials eventually dialed back their accusations, and a parole board finally cleared him for release this week. Madwani is the 33rd of the 66 uncharged men that has been approved to be released, though when and even if these 33 will actually be let go remains uncertain, with heavy restrictions even on the release of innocent men from the detention center, making every release a protracted and heavily politicized battle. Ultimately, the number is more likely to go up than down, with 17 more uncharged detainees facing parole hearings and a lot less difficulty in getting someone approved for release than there is in getting someone already approved for release actually out of detention. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Delaware Supreme Court issued a ruling Tuesday that said that the state's law that allows capital punishment as it is presently configured violates the U.S. Constitution. The High Court issued its decision in the test case of a Temple University Law School graduate accused of killing a classmate last year. The problem with Delaware's law, the court concluded, is that the language allows judges to overrule juries and hand out death sentences, a violation of rights guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says juries must unanimously vote for and independently qualify a convict to be put to death. Delaware's law states that judges are not bound by jury sentencing verdicts in cases they are not constitutionally able to apply the death penalty, thus giving them an unconstitutional final say, according to the court. Tuesday's decision follows a U.S. Supreme Court ruling in January that struck down a similar provision in Florida's death penalty law. Delaware and Alabama are the only other states that have language in the law that allows judges to supplant a jury sentence of life in prison with death. Delaware can continue to put prisoners to death for capital crimes, but only if the General Assembly passes a revised statute that removes the language allowing for judges to overrule a jury. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports a blaze that has scorched some 43,000 acres and destroyed dozens of homes near California's famed Big Sur coast was sparked by an illegal, unattended campfire in a state park, according to authorities. According to U.S. Forest spokesman Don Jacques, the so-called Soberanes fire, which erupted on July 22nd, began as a small blaze, 2 feet in diameter, ignited by an unknown individual in a section of the Garapata State Park that was closed to camping and campfires. Jacques added no arrests have been made. The more than 5,400 fire personnel battling the blaze have been able to draw containment lines around only 18% of the wildfire so far, a measure of how much of its perimeter has been cleared by fire crews of unburned vegetation. Steep mountainous terrain as well as hot, dry conditions have hampered efforts to quell the fire, tearing through the drought-parched chaparral, grass, and timber. One person, a bulldozer operator hired by property owners to help battle the flames, died last week when his vehicle rolled over. It was the second California wildfire-related death in a week. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Hundreds of exasperated Americans confirmed Thursday that, for f***'s sake, the article they just clicked on is actually a stupid video.
I clicked on the story thinking I'd be in and out of there in 30 seconds, but then that little buffering thing popped up and I was like, here we go.
Quickly hitting the mute button after being disoriented by a loud blast of noise from some stupid ad for Hotels.com. Many of the deceived then scanned the webpage for some corresponding write-up so that they could simply read in peace. But reports indicated that would just be too convenient, wouldn't it?
Look, I don't want to watch a report or interview or panel discussion or whatever the hell this is. I just want to skim an article real quick and move on with my day. This is bullshit.
After seriously considering hitting the back button on their browsers, sources say the majority of readers decided to just let the video play out.
You know what? I'll watch the thing, and I'll probably watch the next video that automatically loads afterwards. Me.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm. And we're going to be starting things out here with a special guest tonight, all the way from across the pond. Luke Layton is with us here from the EOMA 68. I don't know what you want to call this, Luke. It's a crowdfunding campaign. You guys are putting together a pretty amazing concept that I think a lot of our listeners will really appreciate, given that there's a lot of privacy people in our listenership audience. We've talked a lot about Edward Snowden. We've talked about the different apps that you can have on your phone to increase your privacy. And you guys are putting together a computer, actually sort of like almost like a build your own computer. I mean, what's the best way to describe this for people?
Right. It's a modular upgradable design where we've chosen the processor based on the fact that we get the complete source code right down to the bedrock.
You guys get the source code, or the...
We can get it so you can check it.
And the idea behind why that's important.
Okay.
Without getting too technical, right? Because here's the challenge for what we're doing here tonight. This isn't, a tech radio show.
No.
It is a general audience radio show. So why should someone be concerned with the code at the base level of a computing device?
From the intelligence community, the rule is if you can't check it, you have to assume it's worst case scenario.
Meaning backdoors, meaning ways in that you don't know about, compromised security.
So if you haven't got the source code, nobody can check it. You have to assume that it's been compromised.
And there's a good chance it has. The NSA has gotten backdoors in many major computing devices. We certainly can't say all of them, but many of them we've reported on here.
Did you do the one where Cisco had to have a clean room where you can inspect the routers?
Who was inspecting
Cisco. The customers, when they ship it, the NSA has been capturing the boxes, installing backdoor software on it. So when they check it at the factory, it's fine. When it arrives, it's not.
Wow!
And they've had to ship like 5 different boxes, most of them empty, to make sure that they can confuse the NSA and the CIA to not saying. And then when it arrives, have the customer come and inspect the box.
How do they inspect it? How do they find out that the NSA's put a backdoor in it? I mean, do they run software?
When it starts phoning home.
Okay. That's crazy stuff.
So you've got a computer that's very, very small. You have one of them with you here.
Yeah.
The actual chip itself, what's in it? What is that? Is that more than just a processor? What am I looking
it's
at?
Basically a fully functioning computer.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is, because it's supposed to be eco-friendly, we're reusing the old PC card, PCMCA casework. Yep. So
it looks like my old Wi-Fi Ethernet card or something.
That's right.
Yeah. From like 20 years ago. Yeah. Well, we found that there are companies still making this stuff. So rather than spend money, sort of $250,000 on tooling and stuff, we just reused it.
This thing's about the size of, maybe a little bit smaller than a laptop hard drive. This is a very small.
It's the size of a credit card.
It's literally the same size as a credit card. If you put a stack of like 4 or 5 credit cards together, you've got the same size as this.
So what you're saying is they've crammed down a computer and what else into that? What all
processor,
is in there?
memory,
RAM,
storage. Yeah, RAM, memory, storage, and then we've got micro HDMI, micro USB, and micro SD.
So as long as you apply power to this device and plug it into some sort of monitor, you've got your USB keyboard or whatever.
Absolutely,
you're good to go.
Absolutely.
But that's not really pretty. You don't want to just sell that
No,
little thing, right? You wanna...
Well, actually, we are, because it's low cost. So if you've got a low cost, if you've got a family who they want to share the thing about being modular is that you can take this out. You can get several of these cards, one per family, all right, and then have one base unit, and then be able to use it, but also plug it into television to things. So it's about cost saving as well as
This is a big. I mean, it's really. I think it's going to be hard.
When you say it's low cost, what is that? How much is that card?
If we get to mass volume, this is $16.
Wow, that's low cost.
Right. That's if you order.
Okay, so we'd be able to sell it for like 25.
Yeah, and then you take this little tiny credit card sized computer device, and then you put it inside some sort of housing,
a laptop,
right?
A desktop, a tablet. So you can then save a thing. So the point of the thing, the reason why we're saying it's Earth-friendly computing devices is because instead of the normal thing where when you break your laptop or it goes wrong, you have to go out and buy a new one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Where instead of the thing, you just go and buy, if you want to upgrade it, you just buy a $50 replacement computer card instead of a $500 laptop.
And some people, I'm sure, in our audience have seen the pictures of these garbage heaps or whatever with unending amounts of computer technology.
Right. People in foreign countries are trying to get the copper and the gold out of laptops, and they're just polluting their environments.
You've seen the photographs with the guys from India sort of poking sulfuric acid baths with a stick.
Yes,
sounds
it's
horrifying.
Disturbing. It's disturbing stuff. And obviously, if you have a modular device, you're only throwing away things that are broken.
Exactly.
Or that are outdated.
Outdated, obsolete.
Because you don't need to...
But here's the thing is, what you can do is the computer cards, because it's based on a standard, you can move them down the chain. So you can keep even... You don't want the computer card because it's too slow for what you're doing. But you can stick it in the kid. Yeah, exactly. Put it in the kid's tablet.
Right. So that way you kind of hand-me-down computers. Yeah.
I'd like to talk about this desktop because I think that's to me, that's the most amazing thing that's going on. By the way, you can go see everything we're talking about at computer.freetalklive.com.
Right, that's going to take you to a fundraiser on a site called Crowd Supply, which will show you pictures and really pitch you.
It's mainly at the moment. The thing is, if you go to the updates, you'll be able to see a whole stack of videos that I've been doing. Software running. We're just today. The one that we're going out shortly is we've managed to get full HD video playback.
That's pretty sweet.
So on a 2.5 watt computer.
On that tiny little thing.
Yeah.
So this desktop is, I guess it's made out of like cut plywood, and it has plugs for everything you're going to need. So it's going to have micro USB plugs, keyboard, mouse, monitor, plugs for everything you need, and you just slide this little credit card sized computer into it, and it functions at the speed of a regular computer, I guess.
Yeah. How fast is the processor in this thing?
It's good enough to be able to do email, printing, Word documents, web browsing, and because of the acceleration, the hardware acceleration on the video, you'll be able to do full video playback. So for most of the tasks, if you want to play games, get an Xbox.
Yeah, right. This isn't an Alienware.
You want to do no, not at all. An Alienware, you would actually be able to cook your dinner on top of it. This is 2.5 watts.
This thing's right, and this is eco-friendly in the sense that it's
1,000 watts. 2.5 watts.
Right. I mean, you're using a lot less power, too.
Tell me about it. So you could run these off grid if you want.
Question from Darryl, who has to sadly sit in the background because we only have 3 microphones in the studio,
Darryl.
But it's a good question. Is this like a Raspberry Pi? And what is a Raspberry Pi for people that don't know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Raspberry Pi was a educational computer that was done by one of the most hypocritical companies around, who run a spyware-based bootloader, which starts up on computer so you can't analyze what's going on. And kids are told that they can educate themselves only so far, but if they want to do something like watch a films or learn about how to do MPEG video, they have to pay $2.50 to Broadcom for doing so. I am not happy with Mr. Broadcom.
So Broadcom is who manufactures the Raspberry Pi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they supply the processor to the Pi Foundation.
I can tell you one thing. I have a Raspberry Pi, and this thing that you have is much smaller than it.
Yeah. What is actually the form factor is about the same size. This is 5 millimeters high. Designed for mass volume. Yeah. The Raspberry Pi is same size footprint, but it's about 15 millimeters high because it's bristling with connectors.
Right.
On this one, basically, everything's done as a sort of very slim a thing. So you will plug it into something that gave you the connectors.
That breaks out.
For example, as you were saying, the desktop. Or, breakout board. We've got a thing for makers and people like that who want to make their own stuff. We've got a breakout board.
The amazing part of this is I'm looking at getting one of these computers, and it's $120 for the desktop.
And upgradable in the future.
It's and eco-friendly, completely secure. I mean, you're a fanatic about security.
Yeah, we haven't really even scratched the surface on how fanatical these guys are.
I don't think you can.
This is coming from the guys behind Think Penguin, and we'll talk more about it here. 855-450 free if you've got some questions you want to join us here on Free Talk Live.
Know that sound? That's the sound of trouble for CPAP users. Did you know that just one drop of water in your CPAP system can become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria? Breathe that stuff in and you're battling respiratory infections, allergy attacks, and more. But here's good news. SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It's the healthier way to clean your system because it kills 99.9% of germs in minutes. For a limited time, you can try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-951-9693. SoClean makes cleaning your CPAP a breeze. It's completely hands-free. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Don't let one drop of water wreak havoc on your body. Call SoClean.com now for your risk-free trial while supplies last. 1-800-951-9693. That's 1-800-951-9693.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, but your calls will be, for the moment, restricted to questions specifically about what we're talking about, and then we'll open it up to open phones, as we normally have here on Free Talk Live. It's rare that we'll have a guest in here, but you got to be doing something pretty special to be a guest on Free Talk Live in general, and certainly so to sit in the studio here with us. So, Luke Layton, it's great to have you in the studio. You've actually been here in Keene, New Hampshire for a few weeks working with the guys from Think Penguin. And they have been, as my understanding, they've been building really privacy-centric hardware for a long time. So it sounds like you guys have, I don't know how long you've known them. How long have you
2 years now.
Teamed up with them?
2 years now.
And what was the genesis of this idea? I mean, you've got this concept, for our listeners just tuning in, of a modular computer where you can keep the same screen. You've got a 3D printed laptop sitting in front of you right now here in the studio. It's a little janky, but it's a first model.
This is one of my first early prototypes. Yeah.
And so basically the idea is, if you've got a laptop, it's got a screen that has a certain resolution. If you want to upgrade this thing, you can actually pop out. It's got the keyboard. It's got the screen. You got the touchpad, which will be going in there eventually. And you've got this little computer that, as you described, is about the size of a credit card, maybe a little bit thicker than a credit card. This computer has the RAM. It has a computer built right into it. It's faster than the original Raspberry Pi, apparently, and most importantly, it doesn't have the spyware built into it at the the root level, if you will.
Yep.
And then so the idea is, when you're ready to upgrade, you would just pop this little card out, which contains the computer and the RAM. Correct. Pop a new card in, and you can keep the housing, and not just laptop, but this is also going to apply to a desktop housing as well.
That's right, and a tablet in the future when we get to it.
So, I mean, it's a big concept that sort of encompasses.
By the way, you've also got plans for that
I've got
too.
that designed.
This is a whole this little computer, the Liberty is the basis of a whole just a vast array of products that they're intending to roll out in the future, and this is the beginning of the funding, the fund drive, just to get the first thing that everybody uses, right? Computers, everybody's got one, and for the desktop, you're talking $120 for a completely secure, ecologically sound, and upgradable modular computer. There's nothing like this on the market right now.
Nothing at all.
That's really strange. I mean, people who have used computers from the 1990s, they will remember, sort of being able to upgrade the processor and the RAM and buy a sound card and, things. And when you come and think, because it was like $2,000 or more for something that was really very basic.
Sure.
So you wanted to save save money by keeping the cards or the peripherals and stuff to the next one that you upgraded. So you disassemble it, make it, and everything. It's complicated. You drop screws and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but with a lot of care, you could do it. And then it sort of got sort of mass produced and things, and people started sealing the boxes. And then, of course, they started adding in the things because it's so prevalent. I'm not sure whether it was Intel and AMD adding in the spying backdoor processor because it was convenient, or because they were actually been asked to do so by the NSA.
Tell me more about that.
We can't really tell.
The backdoors in Intel and AMD chips. Intel and AMD, of course, are the two major processor manufacturers out there. Pretty much anybody with a laptop or desktop computer is likely running one of those processors. I'm presuming Intel and AMD are not involved in the Liberty. Some other company is making your processors. Because
Ironically, we have to go to China to bring USA citizens security and right to privacy in their lives.
Can I use the Liberty in a current device I have? Is it possible to take this and stick it into something I have that's already compromised?
Sadly, hardware's it doesn't work that way. I had to learn the hard way. I've been at this for 5 years. I had to learn the hard way. You have to design the whole thing, source the components because they're very specific, design the casework and the circuit boards all at the same time. And one of the early products I made a mistake of getting some guy to design the casework and the circuit board separately. I told him to do that thing. It didn't fit. No, you can't put this into a standard computer. You'd have to say something.
Okay.
Tell me what EOMA68 is. I mean, it's right here, very prominent on your
Seems important to you.
crowdfunding campaign.
It's a unique tag word, basically. So down the line, if it says the EOMA68 compliant, you'll know that it's you're saying. So it's not supposed to be understandable. But it does stand for embedded open modular architecture.
Meaning that you can audit the code of the
it
low
means
level
it's a standard that you can trust because it's completely open and you can verify it. If you don't understand it, you can pay somebody else to check it.
Someone you trust can,
correct,
who knows programming.
After programming and hardware can go, yeah, that's good.
All right, so how does somebody do that with this device? I mean, you just open it up, hook up, install Linux on it. How do you actually edit the code without getting too? How do you get in there? How do you actually verify your claims?
There are the full source code you can actually download. I mean, actually, we're required because we've got a license called the GPL. We're required to provide the full source code. It's not a matter of a thing. We have to give it to you. So basically, from the website, you'll be able to link to where it is. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to get an engineer to go and look at it and compile it up, etc. But if you're a software person, you'd actually be able to do it yourself. That's the whole point. Is the exercise.
So, but I mean, as far as like the average person, they're not going to have the ability to do that. They have to trust you guys, right?
They don't have. No, that's the whole point. They don't have to trust us.
Yeah.
They can literally go and get the source code themselves and give it to a completely impartial person.
Okay, tough question here, though. I'm going to hit you with this. How do they know? Okay, you can get the source code off the website, but how do they know that's the code that's on the device?
If you don't want to trust that, go ahead and go and get it. Go and download it yourself.
Yeah.
Go track all the sources and things. There is a big community behind this processor, and all of the ones who are saying we're not going to put in processors that have any track record, any possibility of being compromised. All right, it's
It's a big concept.
Security does seem to be their main concern. They're over there at Think Penguin, and this is they're behind all this. Is
this a Think Penguin project, or is there some sort of different consortium that you guys
No. It's basically just me. But Chris was the one who contacted me because I was the only person who was actually saying. Basically, Chris is sitting right here. Hi, Chris.
Yep, back here.
He was really concerned about the backdoor coprocessor spying going on in the AMD and the Intel processors, and wanted a product that he would be able to sell, which people could trust.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You probably did some research about a couple of years ago, and I was the only person on the internet who actually had something which was vaguely like what he was looking for.
Yep.
So Ian sponsored the work. I've been at it for 2 years.
You've contacted the manufacturer in China. You've got this device here. It obviously already exists. Yep. What is it you're raising money for? Because right now you're at not quite half the way to your goal. You're looking to raise $150,000 on this crowdfunding campaign. You're up to over $60,000, which is awesome.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And there's about 23 days left, so just less than a month on this thing. What are you raising the money for? What's the goal here?
Factories, especially in China, require cash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a cash order for the upfront.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the orders that you put with them, you have to base it so that the components. So, for example, the computer card would cost us $35 to get made, but that's only if it's a volume of 250. If we could raise $1 million, we'd be able to get 20,000, 50,000 of these computer cards done.
For less, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Stand by. We'll continue here in
yeah.
moments. This is Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here, especially if you've got a question about the Liberty. It's a computer that will be a modular design, EOMA 68 compatible, which basically means that there's no spyware, there's no backdoors.
Respects your privacy,
right,
respects your freedom.
At the lowest of levels, what you're telling us here, and I believe we've discussed some of these stories in the past on the air, is the inherent lack of privacy in the mainstream computing world.
Right. If you've got a computer sitting in front of you right now, that computer, in all likelihood, is compromised from the lowest American on up to the highest.
Yeah, and so whether it's an AMD, an Intel, you even mentioned we didn't mention this on the air, but Qualcomm is a mobile phone processor manufacturer. They're also corrupted, right?
Yes. There's some evidence to suggest that they required to work with law enforcement authorities, legal or otherwise, ethical or otherwise, to install over the air, even if the device, if your phone or tablet switched off, to install any program that they want onto your computer.
And you guys are eventually going to be doing a cell phone variant on this?
We will.
A modular cell phone, which could then, again, be upgraded. You got your nice looking screen. You just pop the processor and RAM out in this little device, this Liberty
with a hard kill switch on the modem, so it won't think so. You'll know that it's
so if you want to turn it off, it's off.
Yeah, so you can do your email, do your messages.
Now, that's down the road, right? That's not what you're raising money for right now.
That's right. This will be down the road, yeah.
So right now, you're looking to mass manufacture these tiny little credit card device, processor, RAM. What else was packed in there again? Processor, RAM?
Processor, RAM, and some storage, some NAND storage. And then on this one, we've also got HDMI, micro SD, and things. So you can put in a micro SD card. I can't believe you can get 256 gigabyte micro SD cards now.
Now, right? Yeah,
256 gigabyte micro SDs.
And there's
I had no idea either.
And there's 2 slots of that. And that's now. I mean, what's going to happen in 5 years? You're going to get 2 terabyte micro SD cards.
Now, this thing's obviously targeted at privacy-conscious consumers. This is for people who...
Yeah, but it's low cost enough that anyone
can do it.
So, I mean, it's buying a low-cost computer and getting all the privacy for free.
For free, yeah. Exactly.
And not to mention the sort of environmental concerns that go in with other computers and the cost savings over time, because not only is it a low-cost computer, but because it's modular, you'll be able to switch things out in the future as opposed to just tossing the whole computer.
Correct. Well, the thing with the caseworks, one thing I didn't realize until I started really investigating this is that environmental damage of a device is done by how much materials it costs. So it's the amount of environmental damage is directly proportional to how much you paid for it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right. So if you can keep something out of landfill for longer, not only do you save yourself money, but you're doing a favor for a thing. But with this computer, it's designed, and the laptop is divided in several different parts, so that if you drop it and break one of the parts, you can go to UPS. UPS is investing huge amounts in 3D printing now.
Really?
Yeah. They want one in every single depot. All right. So that not just so that you can imagine you ship something across the world. Well, in here you just email the local depot of your customer or your friend or your family the STL file, upload it and they'll 3D print it and mail it locally.
Your replacement part you can get locally from anyone with a 3D print.
Or your library, your makerspace, anything, or on the internet, Shapeways, whatever. And then you can repair it yourself.
Yeah, I hope
with a screwdriver.
Yeah, I hope that we're effectively communicating how big of a concept this is. I mean, we're hitting on multiple cylinders here. It's privacy conscious at the lowest hardware level. So keeping you safe from snooping. It's environmentally friendly.
And the president safe from snooping as well.
Right. Well, I think that's something you mentioned during the break is that this is the first president that's been allowed to have a computer.
That's right.
And likely there is a back door in his computer.
I know, right?
So it's environmentally friendly, it's privacy conscious, and it's affordable. That's one of those things where you get that triangle where you can't have all three.
You can't have everything.
You really can have it all apparently.
Well, you have to.
If they can get the
invest ahead of time. You can't have it fast.
Right. They've got to get through this fundraiser, and they're not quite to 50% at the moment. So go to computer.freetalklive.com. That'll take you right to their fundraiser page. And of course, like a good fundraiser, unlike ours that we're doing right now for Satellite Time, you've got all kinds of perks where people can get not just the small Liberty device, but full-on housing kit to build the computer itself. What are some of the things that you're offering on the perks if you're familiar with them?
Right. Okay, so there's a $5 one, which if you just want to contribute to this, fantastic.
Yep.
We'll be putting some T-shirts and stuff on later. There's the computer card, which is on at $65. Right at the bottom, there is a cable set, which if you really want to, you can go out on Amazon and find it. It's $1.63 for one of them, I think. But that's so that you can plug in, you can power it from your smartphone charger, right? And then plug in a keyboard and mouse and your internet access, and plug it into HDMI into your television using the same HDMI cables that you get for those tablets, with the micro HDMI ones. So if you've already got that for your computer, you can just use this. You get $65, get a $1.63 cable, and you're done.
And your computer's just hanging there, and
dangling around and stuff.
Right, you don't have a housing for it.
If you're not happy with that, you can get the $55 micro desktop.
Yeah.
Now you can get 2 screens, and you've got 3 USB ports.
2 screens?
Right, 2 screens, because it's got a VGA output on one end, and you've got the micro HDMI on the other.
Okay, I need help with
Right.
that. So you can
See how
dual screens.
You can have that?
Yeah,
You can have
like
what
he's
Ian
got
has?
here, just here. Yeah.
The two screen computer guy who's not
right.
messing around.
No, you're not messing
That
around. with
is
this thing.
awesome. I want that so badly.
Yeah, if you
I don't have any idea how to set that up.
If you contribute to this, you are definitely not messing around. I mean, this is a pretty serious project, and it's got a big
This is
vision.
messing around money, though.
You mentioned to us during one of the breaks, there's a pretty big vision here. I mean, you said you want to see this in Walmart. I mean, how realistic is that? If you meet the funding goal,
if we get the funding goal, we end up with an order for 50k units because we'll.
50,000
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right, is once we've got the prototypes up, with the units up and running and the infrastructure is there, then I can start going along to Walmart's sales guys and Best Buy and PC World, Asda's, Aldi, all those stores, and say, hey guys, we had a successful card campaign. Here it is. It worked. Here's a demo unit. Go ahead and play with it and see what you think. All right. If you want to know the pricing of the cards now and the computer cards in the future, let us know. All right. So the vision is that it's not outside the realm of possibility. They would go, oh, sure, fine. Here's an order for 50,000. Fantastic. All right. Because I can base the pricing. I can go back to the factory in China and say, give me the pricing for this. And they'll say, oh, the computer card, bill of material is $16. Great. Okay. So I can go along to Walmart and say, I'll sell you this for 20. All right. Now you'll get it for 25 in Walmart or wherever it is. But the vision is that you would have a rack of computer cards ranging from $20 for the low-end ones up to $100 for the fastest high-end ones. The next rack would have a 7-inch tablet, a netbook, a handheld.
Pick your case.
Pick your
colors,
case.
whatever, right?
Yeah, color. Yeah, exactly. Knowing full well that you could actually go on the internet and 3D print your own replacement parts, and well, if you really wanted to, and repair it. And then a battery pack on the side as well, so you can literally mix and match.
Yep.
And
people love that. I mean, they love to choose.
Yeah. But also, if you make a mistake, I mean, a thing I was telling you in the break, I had a friend who 10 years ago bought some of those little laptop things. They were tiny little things. Brought it home for the kids for Christmas, and they were so disappointed because they were too slow to run the games that they were expecting off the internet. So it was total waste. If it had been a Yoma 68 device, they were saying, oh, don't worry about it, kids. I'll talk to Grandma. I haven't got enough money, but maybe in 3 months' time she can buy you an early Christmas present, an early birthday present each. Yeah? Or an upgrade each of them for $30. How fantastic would that be?
Now, what operating systems can you realistically put on one of these?
Right. On this one, we've got Parabola Linux Libre. We've got Debian, we've got a couple of other ones, Fedora 24 and things. So basically you can run like Ubuntu. You can also run Android, and it will run Chrome OS.
Okay, so you can have GUI and...
Yeah. You got
all
it's
the
all
apps.
right. Yeah, basically, yes. Later on we'll have a upgraded one thing. We're really looking forward to a Windows one later.
All right, now doesn't that cancel out the whole privacy aspect?
I know, but we can't have everything, man.
All right, hold on. We'll continue here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. Maybe get a question about this fundraiser because it's pretty exciting. Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST, hosting.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio on demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $3 lower at $1,361 per ounce. Silver is 14 cents lower at $20.54 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $567 US. Gold and silver have been quietly outperforming the stock market all this year. Perhaps it's time for you to diversify your savings. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind. We'll open the phones up here shortly, and you can take control of the airwaves. As normal, 855-450-FREE is that number, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at Skype username lrn.fm. The fundraising campaign for the Liberty, an EOMA 68 compatible computer card that could become this sort of modular design, futuristic computer where you can actually keep the computer itself, the monitor. If you get a laptop that's one of these, it's got one of these cards in it, you can just swap out the card, and that's basically like changing out your processor and your RAM, an upgrade, like an instant upgrade without having to know any kind of technology. You know, how do you break into a computer? I mean, I've been inside laptops before, and it is not something the average person can handle. This, you just pull this little card out. It's the size of a credit card. You pop in the new one, and you've got your upgrade. So you get to keep all of the stuff. As long as you don't drop the laptop and the screen cracks, then you'd have to replace the screen. But otherwise, these things are going to last for quite a while. And it's going to, as you said before, allow people to do your standard kind of desktop-y stuff like word processing, web browsing, that basic level stuff. The processors aren't going to be designed for running the latest Doom game. But nonetheless, this is what most people are doing. They're not gamers. Most people aren't gamers. This is targeted towards people who are privacy conscious right now. But eventually, you want everybody to be able to have access to this.
Correct.
So people that understand that their computers are basically compromised by the NSA, you guys really need to look at this right now. Go to computer.freetalklive.com and get all the details on this crowdfunding campaign. You guys have a bunch of stories linked here from various different computing websites where, you're getting accolades all over the place. From various different sites here. They're saying, want to replace or upgrade the computer. This is from Lilliputting. Just slide out the PC card and slide in a new one. If you want to replace or customize any other components, you can 3D print your own parts or have someone who has a 3D printer do it for you. They've got one in the library here in Keene, New Hampshire.
Fantastic.
So you go to the library and print out a replacement part for something that breaks. So very, very cool concept here. And you guys were just, you were teasing the idea of putting windows on one of these things, which of course seems contrary to the whole privacy design. What were you saying there?
The specification will require that Microsoft be honest.
About what?
About the spying that they're putting into the computers that they're doing at the moment.
Which everyone knows they're doing that. I mean, it's just speculation, though, huh?
No, it's not speculation. No? We know that the Windows operating system phones home. We've had, people who are on satellite links in remote areas doing life-saving work, doing computational analysis that takes several days. The freaking Windows update goes and stops the work that's saving lives in areas because it wants to install the upgrade. And it's gone downloaded over thousands of dollars worth of satellite.
Which they're now forcing you to do these upgrades. They used to be able to turn them
why?
off.
It's because they're in bed both with the NSA and with the DRM companies for the media moguls.
So how is this project going to help make them more honest? I'm not clear on.
They won't get certification from me if it breaks the rules, the anti-spyware and spyware rules.
And that presumes that this will become so popular, they're going to want to be a part of it.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, that's the vision.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right now, you can get on board for $120. Basically, you've got a new computer. But what his hope is that people will latch on to this modular, ecological idea, and I can't see why they wouldn't. And low cost.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, people love green. They love the idea of saving the planet. And if it's cheaper, because usually when you get green, it's more expensive.
Honestly, what we found is the social studies have showed that honestly, people don't care so much about the thing, but they do care about their wallet. And what the fantastic thing is I can say about this is we can do both.
Yeah.
So we can tell people it saves you money long term. It just happens to be eco-conscious at the same time.
At the same time. And you can go to computer.freetalklive.com, learn more about it there, contribute to this crowdfunding campaign. I think it's doable. I mean, how long has this been going on for so far? You've got 23 days left. When did you start?
30 days started at the beginning of
So you've about a 2-month-long fundraiser?
I have a question. So you're going to have these computers, and obviously they're going to get better over time. Every 18 months, they're going to double in their capacity.
Double RAM, double capacity, everything. Yeah.
What do you, with the old ones, will you be able to design something where you can slip in 3 or 4 of these things sort of in serial and make a better computer or something?
Right. The one thing I was saying, if you're going to back this, please, for goodness sake, do not throw the old computer card away. Sell it on eBay. Contact us on the mailing list. We'll take it off your hands. There will be people who will want to think. There's a Raspberry Pi co-located hosting service, all right, where you can get Raspberry Pis and you can you can host your website on a 2.5 watt computer. People will want to buy the older computer cards from you so that they can make $2 to $3 a month by renting it.
Let's go to the phones here. We've got some questions from the listeners. David is in California. You're on Free Talk Live with Luke Layton.
Yeah, I tuned in late, so I'm not sure the full, stated purpose of your interview was. But it crossed my mind that you're talking about the costs of high tech. In other words, if you had somebody before even the Pony Express, it took a week sometimes to get a point across to somebody on the other side of the planet, and so nowadays with high tech and electric, speed of light type of transactions, people don't have the opportunity to really make a wise decision. It's too many quick off the hip kind of buying plans that.
Sleepwalking into it.
What's the question, David? I'm sorry, we're real short on time.
Well, it's the high cost of high tech.
Well, this is low cost, right? This is one of they're solving this this problem here.
Yeah, that's right. It's long-term cost saving, David.
So the idea is you would get this computer, which could be 3D printed basically, and would throw a few parts in there. You get this Liberty computer device. You slide it in there, and you've got an operating computer. 2 years later, if you want to upgrade, you get a different computer chip that goes in, or a different computer card.
$50 instead of throwing away the whole laptop.
And so you keep the device, you keep the housing, you keep the monitor, you keep all the things that go around with it. You just do a quick upgrade. So you've saved a lot of money, and you've also not contributed as much to a landfill in that case.
Well, yeah, I guess is what you're selling. Then you probably have to have like a parts bullet, so to speak, that you put in your copy machine, right? So if you're going to create one of these chips, you're going to have the raw materials to put in there, right?
We're using the mass volume processors the same ones that come out of smartphones and tablets. We're not taking on creating a processor of our own yet. We'll need about 5 to 10 million to do that.
So what they're doing right now, Dave, is they're doing a fundraising campaign, and you can go to computer.freetalklive.com to read all about it. Thank you for the call tonight. And the idea of the fundraising campaign, from what you've told me, Luke, is to garner enough to where you can put in a large order for these computer cards.
Correct.
With the vision of, selling them in mass or to retailers and things like that.
It's a multi-stage approach. This is just the first start. This is just the start.
And you get to be part of the ground floor on this huge concept that, can be a part of history, basically.
Crowdfunding is about backing ideas.
Yeah.
Not about buying products. That's really important to.
A lot of sort of flashy, crappy ideas on many of these crowdfunding things, and I'm sure that people want them and that sort of thing. But this is sort of foundational and fundamental. This is hacking the whole electronics system that we have. You're going to remake it from the ground up, and that's amazing.
It's a paradigm shift in computing, and it's a wake up call to people as well at the same time.
All right, so it's EOMA 68 compatible computer cards. They've got this thing happening. I mean, this thing, it's close already. I would say this is within striking distance of
we're the main part. The critical thing for is the computer cards. We're about 5% away from the minimum order quantity of 250 units for the computer cards. So
okay, excellent.
That's really good.
So you guys are doing this final push here. There's 23 days left. Don't delay. Go to computer.freetalklive.com. Go there, learn more about this. You can get in at various different support levels, as low as $5, and then of course plenty of perks beyond that. $65, $120. I think, what is it? $55, $450. Yeah, so go
$120 for a working computer.
Go check this thing out. It's amazing, and I was excited about it when you initially had told me about it. Then you brought this 3D printed laptop to sort of show this is a real kind of proof of concept here. And you guys are working for this, and I think it's great. I appreciate you coming in tonight, Luke, to tell us about this. And again, the website, computer.freetalklive.com. And again, that will take you right to their crowdfunding campaign. They're at about 40% of their goal of $150,000, which, as far as crowdfunding campaigns go, it's not the largest one. That's reachable. So best of luck, and to keep us informed as to how this develops. Luke Layton from the EOMA 68 Liberty Computer Card Project. Computer.freetalklive.com. We're opening up the phones. You can call in about anything you want to discuss here. Hour number 2 is on the way, and this is Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,364 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $555. Antiwar.com reports in addition to the 10 detainees actually charged with something, Guantanamo Bay continues to hold some 66 detainees totally uncharged with any crime. These detainees have been held for years, many over a decade, and many for no real reason. Musab Omar Ali al-Mudwani, a 36-year-old who arrived at Guantanamo Bay some 14 years ago, did not do anything. Captured during raids targeting foreigners in Karachi, Pakistan, the Pentagon assumed he was part of a 6-person Al-Qaeda cell in Karachi, so named because they caught 6 people. Lacking evidence, officials eventually dialed back their accusations, and a parole board finally cleared him for release this week. Madwani is the 33rd of the 66 uncharged men that has been approved to be released, though when and even if these 33 will actually be let go remains uncertain, with heavy restrictions even on the release of innocent men from the detention center, making every release a protracted and heavily politicized battle. Ultimately, the number is more likely to go up than down, with 17 more uncharged detainees facing parole hearings and a lot less difficulty in getting someone approved for release than there is in getting someone already approved for release actually out of detention. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Delaware Supreme Court issued a ruling Tuesday that said that the state's law that allows capital punishment as it is presently configured violates the U.S. Constitution. The High Court issued its decision in the test case of a Temple University Law School graduate accused of killing a classmate last year. The problem with Delaware's law, the court concluded, is that the language allows judges to overrule juries and hand out death sentences, a violation of rights guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says juries must unanimously vote for and independently qualify a convict to be put to death. Delaware's law states that judges are not bound by jury sentencing verdicts in cases they are not constitutionally able to apply the death penalty, thus giving them an unconstitutional final say, according to the court. Tuesday's decision follows a U.S. Supreme Court ruling in January that struck down a similar provision in Florida's death penalty law. Delaware and Alabama are the only other states that have language in the law that allows judges to supplant a jury sentence of life in prison with death. Delaware can continue to put prisoners to death for capital crimes, but only if the General Assembly passes a revised statute that removes the language allowing for judges to overrule a jury. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports a blaze that has scorched some 43,000 acres and destroyed dozens of homes near California's famed Big Sur coast was sparked by an illegal, unattended campfire in a state park, according to authorities. According to U.S. Forest spokesman Don Jacques, the so-called Soberan's fire, which erupted on July 22nd, began as a small blaze 2 feet in diameter, ignited by an unknown individual in a section of the Garapata State Park that was closed to camping and campfires. Jacques added no arrests have been made. The more than 5,400 fire personnel battling the blaze have been able to draw containment lines around only 18% of the wildfire so far, a measure of how much of its perimeter has been cleared by fire crews of unburned vegetation. Steep mountainous terrain as well as hot, dry conditions have hampered efforts to quell the fire, tearing through the drought-parched chaparral, grass, and timber. One person, a bulldozer operator hired by property owners to help battle the flames, died last week when his vehicle rolled over. It was the second California wildfire-related death in a week. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Like many young inner-city students, Chicago area high school sophomore Brandy Perkins struggles every day to motivate her teachers. The frustrated 16-year-old talked to Onion reporters this morning to discuss the challenges she faces in reaching out to her underperforming educators.
Connecting with the teachers gets harder and harder every year. We all come in every morning eager to learn, but most of the teachers just seem completely uninterested in education. One of my teachers, Miss Manley, has been particularly hard to work with. She was quiet at first, but she showed some potential. I thought maybe she just needed a little time to come out of her shell, but as the weeks went by, she just sat there listlessly at her desk, never talking or participating. It just makes you feel so helpless.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here. The phones are open to you to bring up whatever is on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Mark,
and Darryl.
And you can join us online any old time you want. Just head on over to freetalklive.com. Get interactive on the site. The front page is a Reddit-based site, which means that you can submit content right there to the front page, and then you can vote whether you like or dislike the things that you see that other listeners have submitted. So go there, get interactive over at freetalklive.com. In the last hour, we were talking with the guys, or with one of the guys from the new crowdfunding campaign, the EOMA 68 compatible Earth-friendly computing devices. And if you missed that, you definitely should go back and grab our archive later tonight at freetalklive.com and check that out, because it's a really cool project. But it brings up some privacy issues. That's one of the things that people should be more concerned with now than ever before, given the prevalence of the NSA spying on us. And, Darryl, you've got a privacy-related story that has to do with Edward Snowden here in a few moments. We will get to that in a bit. But first, let's go to the phones and to the fun. We got Ricky in Pennsylvania to start things out here in this hour. Ricky, go ahead with your thoughts.
Sweet. Gentlemen, good evening.
What's on your mind, Ricky?
Well, I wish I could have hit Luke. I really wanted to talk to him, but I want to talk a little bit about the Liberty Computer, if I could.
Well, you're certainly welcome to. By the way, Luke did invite folks. He was the guy we had on in hour number one. If you go to computer.freetalklive.com, there's obviously a lot of information there about this project that they're crowdfunding. And at the very bottom of the page, if they haven't answered all your questions, there is a Ask a Question button that will allow you to send them whatever question you like. But what is he wanted to say on the air? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he mentioned it. I kind of caught only like three-quarter of it. Did he mention the version of Android that it's going to be running, or that it runs?
No, they did not specify which version of Android that it would run, but in theory...
Here's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, everybody now knows that I'm a Windows insider, and I know 10 Mobile very well. And in fact, I know iPhone and Android quite well. My concern is, as of the problem with Android, there's a lot of reasons why I won't carry Android. I won't put a credit card on any Android operating system, Android-based, because of its flawed core. which is unfixable. I mean, the only way to fix the flawed core is to basically rewrite and rebuild Android.
What's the flaw with Android?
The flaw is, I mean, first of all, you got to think that, first of all, Google is not the first one that had it. Google bought it from another individual. The problem is it's prone to what they call stage fright. It's a flaw. The core has vulnerabilities. And
you expect us to believe that Windows phones aren't flawed?
Well, I know I've been dealing with it for almost 2 years, so I think I know it inside and out. Now,
are you a programmer?
No, I work with coders. I squash bugs.
That still doesn't say what the flaw is with Android. All you basically said was the flaw is that it has flaws.
There is something here about stage fright, though.
It's permanently flawed. Let me finish. Now, the other problem is, I know what I'm talking about. Now, the other problem is, as of Lollipop, they did something that a no-no. By the way, Ian, I put a 4x2 of Free Talk Live under Cortana. A lot of people saw that in the past couple of weeks, so I can hand my device to people, at least until I start with the Redstone 2 bill. You know?
I don't know what you just said, dude.
Me either.
You got a lot of free promotion on my touch screen.
Well, thank you for that.
All right, but anyway, the point is that the biggest problem I see with privacy right now is as of Lollipop. Now, within Lollipop, there is a
This
switch.
is a version of Android's operating system that he's referring to. That
Now,
they name their operating systems after candies.
Right. Now, the switch is, quote, off by default. Now, if you look at what happened with Google with the treaty that they broke, and they got caught by the ACLU, and they're not supposed to track students, I would not say they're very honorable. See, the problem with this switch is it's a no-no. Now, I use a 16-digit front-end passcode on my 950. I also have my iris scanner. Now, both of those are only saved locally with an encrypted hash. I can't even make a backup of it. If I blow away my OS, it's gone. Now, in the case of Android, as of Lollipop, there's a switch. The switch is off by default. Now, let's think about what happened with the backup that got quote-unquote corrupted by the FBI concerning Apple. You see, there's no way to save it to a server on Windows Phone.
I gotta say, I'm
Now,
lost. You've completely lost me, and I'm relatively technically adept. Ricky, shouting at me isn't going to help. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Now, what he did say about stage fright is a thing. In July,
what exactly is stage fright?
Here's a story from AndroidCentral.com/stagefright. In July 2015, security company Zimperium announced it had discovered a unicorn of a vulnerability inside the Android operating system. More details were publicly disclosed at the Black Hat conference in early August. This was published about a year ago, August 17th, 2015. But not before headlines declaring that nearly 1 billion Android devices could potentially be taken over without their users even knowing it. So what is stage fright? It is the nickname given to a potential exploit that lives fairly deep inside the Android operating system itself. The gist is that a video sent via MMS text message could be theoretically used as an avenue of attack through the libstagefright mechanism, which helps Android process video files. Many text messaging apps, Google's Hangout app was specifically mentioned, automatically process that video so it's ready for viewing as soon as you open the message. And so the attack theoretically could happen without you even knowing it. Because libstagefright dates back to Android 2.2, hundreds of millions of phones contain this flawed library. Just as Google began rolling out...
Sounds like he's right?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what all Ricky was saying because he's so jumbled up and hard to understand.
I will agree with you.
He talks to you like you understand, everything that all the terms he's throwing out there, and I'm a computer guy and I don't even understand it. So just as Google began rolling out updates for its Nexus line, the Exodus firm published a blog post snarkily saying that at least one exploit remained unpatched, implying that Google screwed up with their code. The UK publication The Register quotes an engineer from Rapid7 as saying the next fix will come in September's security update, part of the new monthly security patching process. Google, for its part, has yet to publicly address this latest claim. So I don't know if they have solved the stage fright thing. That maybe that's something that they have remedied. According to Ricky, he makes it sound like they have not. So if you know more about that, you're welcome to share your thoughts with us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And, it's hard to trust all of these companies. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what the code says. We're not programmers. I definitely am more trusting of Chris and Luke. We had Luke in here in our first hour.
Well, I know Chris's dedication,
Chris
too.
is a huge privacy guy.
Yeah.
And also what Luke had said is that you would be able to run Android. I'm on the computer.freetalklive.com crowdfunding thing for this EOMA 68, and they have several different cards that you can pre-order as far as your perk, and they all come with a variant of Linux. So none of these come with Android pre-installed, but you would be able to put Android on there.
He did, Luke mentioned the word Android one time. Clearly, Ricky found that to be important and wanted to talk about that part. So, yes, this comes with an operating system that, from the best we can tell, is very privacy-oriented.
Right, and Android, the reason he mentioned that specifically is open source. He also mentioned Windows, but then he explained further, well, in order to put Windows on, Windows would have to wind up being honest and providing source code. And, well, Android does that by default.
Yeah.
Let's continue with your calls and thoughts here. Let's go to Ian in China. You're on Free Talk Live via Skype. Hello, Ian.
Hello, how are you today?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
This guy, Ricky. God, he makes me dizzy just trying to listen to him.
You're not the only one.
Yep, I heard you. Stand by, Ian. I'm not sure what you're calling about,
okay.
but we'll bring you back here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Apparently, there were some Google Android code-based patches against the Stagefright bug. So where it stands today, I don't know. I guess it would depend on your phone and whether or not it's ever been upgraded since you bought it. If it hasn't been, then that might be a problem. This is Free Talk Live.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-4295. I used to be so broke, I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-960-4295. 1-800-960-4295.
Do you know that good digestion is your body's first line of defense? Millions of Americans suffer from poor digestion. It shows up in the form of heartburn, acid reflux, GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, and many other symptoms. Healthy digestion relies on armies of friendly bacteria. These good bugs keep bad bugs in check. Probimune, a new, uniquely developed probiotic, is scientifically proven to get to your gut and deliver the benefits of improved digestion. Probimune is an immune system booster and a digestive health enhancer. It's simple to use, and most importantly, you will feel Probimune working, soothing, and relaxing the gut. Get yours today by visiting younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024. Again, that's 800-396-9024. Use coupon code DIGEST to receive 15% off your first order.
Is spreading the message of liberty and peace around the globe worth 15 cents per day to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, we did a fundraiser that successfully covered the costs of continuing our African channel. This year, we're hoping to raise enough to fund a new satellite signal that will cover Europe, North Africa, and much of the Middle East. You can donate as much or as little as you like via the Indiegogo campaign at fund.lrn.fm. And there are perks available like sitting in on your favorite LRN.FM show, exclusive shiny badges, or even naming a satellite channel. Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want. Dial toll-free here. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
And all three of us have been using MyPillow. Not MyPillow, but the brand, MyPillow.com. We've had it for a few months now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It does a great job of fitting to the shape of your body and holding your neck in the proper position, because in many cases, chronic headaches, neck, and even back pain can be solved with the right pillow. The idea is your spine should be straight and parallel to the floor. Plus, you can actually wash and dry in your washer and dryer the MyPillow. I've never seen a pillow before in my life that you could do that with. You can do that with MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Get your pillow there. Use code FTL. You can get 2 for the price of 1. And there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't think this is the best pillow you've ever owned, you've got 60 days to make the decision and send it back if you want.
I'm real happy with mine.
Yep. MyPillow.com. Use code FTL. There's also a 10-year warranty on the product as well. So again, MyPillow.com, code FTL. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, Ian is back with us here in China. Ian, what's on your mind tonight? Go ahead.
Oh, it has to do with privacy.
Yes, sir.
As you may or may not know, in China, by the spring of next year, we'll be completely Sinonet, isolated from the internet.
Huh?
The government has been building Sinonet and keeping us upgraded on what's happening, and they're cutting out more sites and throttling and slowing down others while the Chinese sites fill.
So wait, okay, your connection's a little bit bad tonight. So you're saying the Chinese government, we already knew that they were restricting certain website access, like, you can't Google for certain things over there. There's some websites that are blocked by the government. What's the difference between the status quo, where there already are restrictions, and what you're talking about?
The new Sinonet will be completely contained within the Chinese sphere. You have almost no access to overseas IPs unless they first go through a clearing center.
Oh, wow.
So essentially it would be a nationwide intranet?
It is now. Let's see. You can't get Google. You can't get YouTube. You can't get Twitter or Facebook or Snapchat.
Wow.
You can't get these things now. And when you log on to MSN News, it's been rewritten in Beijing, and you should read some of the stories.
Sounds absolutely crazy. So how is it that can you even get to like our website right now, or is you're saying that when this thing rolls out fully, like freetalklive.com, LRN.FM, these sites will just be inaccessible?
Well, right now, you guys are on a throttle, meaning when I log to you, because you're overseas IP, the provider, which is the government, throttles back my speed. They roll it back to make it difficult to reach. After next year, you may be gone. I've logged on to you through gcnlive.com.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to have slipped between the cracks, but quick example, I'm free chatting on the Skype chat with some friends. And in the middle of one chat, a note pops up and says, you can't talk about that.
That is really scary. And
we chatted a little more. We got another you can't talk. And 2 days ago, one day after the note, I was visited by a man in a trench coat who looked just like a Chinese Dick Tracy with a cute little badge, who just politely informed me that I'm a guest of his country. I've been a guest for decades.
And you better follow
If I
the
want to remain a
rules.
guest,
Ian, thanks for the call tonight. Very scary news. If that's true, then that's pretty horrifying.
Yeah, that's a real police state there. Even more so than it's interesting the differences though. Like their police don't have guns and generally aren't very scary, but their online presence is frightening.
Well, he told us there are two types of police. There's the blue uniformed and the black uniformed. He says the blue uniformed guys have no guns, but the black uniformed guys do.
But you rarely see the black uniformed ones.
And yeah, very, very scary news there. Hopefully we'll be kept in the loop as that continues to develop. And if you are chatting on the internet and you're, like he said, he was using Skype to talk with people, the convenience factor is usually what wipes away any privacy that you might possibly have.
Yes.
So, yes, Skype is convenient, but it's also run by Microsoft, and of course, they're going to do whatever the Chinese government tells them to do.
Yes.
Because I suspect Microsoft has contracts with said Chinese government for software and things like that, and they'd like that to continue. So they'll just let them, tap into whatever it is that they want to tap into. Whereas there are encrypted chat applications. I suspect Telegram might operate over in China. That is one, some people will question its encryption, but there are others out there as well. Signal is another one. So, you can take steps to protect your conversations. CryptoCat is another one of the encrypted chat apps, and those,
I don't find it very easy to use.
CryptoCat is pretty easy.
I sorry.
You type in a channel name, and the other person types in the channel name.
Telegram.
The channel. Telegram's great, but the thing with Telegram is you have to have a phone in order to have that work. CryptoCat will work with any browser, so Firefox, Chrome. So there are solutions out there for you that the Chinese government likely will not be able to access. But then again, maybe they'll get mad if they see encrypted communications coming from your IP address.
Yeah, and we had somebody that called several months ago saying that he was using a VPN and then he was just not able to connect to anything.
They just blocked the VPN, period. They could recognize the port or the communications type somehow.
Or the IP address.
So, they're probably looking at the different packets coming from your IP and saying, oh, this is pretty likely to be a VPN.
I know
so
when I'm connected to my VPN, there have been websites that I've gone to where I've gotten a message that says your IP address has been blocked because of malicious activity.
Because someone else could have been on it before.
And then it's like, oh, I'm on the VPN. Let me turn that off because I know that this is a good website. I've gone to it before, and I've not done anything fishy.
To your phone calls and thoughts, we got Tim. He's in Wyoming. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tim.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. No, I was listening. I just happened to turn the show on a little bit ago, and I heard something about Android having privacy issues, which it already has anyway, because basically it's owned by Google. But at the same time, now it's even less private than before. Is that what I was hearing earlier, or am I incorrect in that? Was that
what
I was hearing about?
Generally, you should figure that your privacy is compromised on any kind of mass market device like that, based on what we were hearing from the guys from Think Penguin earlier. Whether it's Google or whatever.
Think as in Think Penguin. You said?
Yeah, THINK. Think Penguin.
Okay.
That's one of the companies behind the Earth-friendly EOMA 68 computing devices that we were talking about earlier in the show. And these guys are like real privacy-conscious folks, like to the point of obsession. and that's a good thing for those of you that want privacy. You got to go with you got to take extra steps. You can't just figure that you're going to be private right out of the box on something like an Android device. And they're even suggesting that the violations of your privacy are happening at the lowest system levels, which means you can't just uninstall the program. That the problem is the hardware itself. Tim, if you got more, stand by here. 855-450 free is our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
New ProMax filter technology from ProPure removes over 200 contaminants from your drinking water, including the stuff you don't taste, smell, or see, like PFOA. ProMax is independent lab tested to NSF standards. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com. Ask about our free shipping special on ProMax. Don't drink just any water. Drink Pro Purified water.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack, focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
HealthForLiberty.com is your source for Protovite, a powerful nutritional supplement that's a true breakthrough for your health. Poor digestion makes it nearly impossible to absorb the nutrition your body needs. Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology and the highest quality ingredients to nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra White. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking. I'm 66, living life and loving it.
Go to HealthForLiberty.com right now. That's HealthForLiberty.com.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to CoinCap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. CoinCap.io.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
A fully leveled up video game character marvels at how far he's come, and the milk rushing through a jug handle is having the time of its life. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, top executives from the U.S. financial sector announced they're about ready to ruin the world again. Representatives from all major banking and investment institutions said that more than enough time has passed since they last caused a major global economic meltdown, and confirmed they're pretty much fully prepared to bring about a brand new worldwide financial crisis.
We feel like we've given people enough time to get comfortable again. Consumer spending has increased. Housing market has rebounded. So yeah, we're all set to go ahead and ruin the global economy again.
And in other news, the perfect gift for a local man is unfortunately a gift certificate to Lowe's Cinemas. Mall shoppers look on in awe as a helpless 15-year-old girl is viciously torn apart by a pack of her peers. And a drunk pilot decides to pull over onto a cloud until he sobers up. You will now hear 3 gong strikes and a recitation of the great chant before being ushered to the hallowed garden. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 641-552-5046. That's 641-552-5046.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited here. You can join us toll-free. Bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, Snowden's Gift of Privacy. Darryl will be telling us about that. It's kind of a privacy-oriented show so far here tonight. And one of the things that is out there that can be private, but by default is not, is Bitcoin. It is actually a very public thing in that every transaction for Bitcoin you can look at. It's a public ledger of transactions. However, if you create a Bitcoin wallet and you don't tell anyone about it, then no one knows that you have it until you inform them that you do have it. You give them your Bitcoin address. The thing with Bitcoin is every time you give somebody your Bitcoin address, you can change the address so that everyone you give your address to has a different code for you. And so therefore, they don't all get to see who all's transactions you've been doing business with. One of the things you need to get started with Bitcoin, though, is a wallet, and we've got one we recommend as the official wallet of Free Talk Live. It's Jaxx, JAXX.io. You can go to your favorite app store or straight to their website at JAXX.io to download the Jaxx wallet. It can allow you to hold Bitcoin, Ether, and DAO tokens, plus more cryptocurrencies will be coming soon. There's Shapeshift integration built right in for frictionless, easy exchange between the currencies in Jaxx. It was created by Anthony DiOrio. He's one of the founders of Ethereum and a listener of Free Talk Live. It's super easy to back up your wallet and recover funds with Jaxx. So if you lose your phone for some reason, not a problem. You can just use the backup information you have and recover every bit of Bitcoin that you have there. Jaxx is striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, and it's cross-platform, by the way. So whether you've got Linux, Mac, Windows, iOS, Android, whatever it is you use, it's likely there's a Jaxx for you, which means you can have the same Bitcoin on multiple devices, or if you want, you can have different wallets. It's up to you. JAXX.io. Go there, get started. As we go back to your phone calls and thoughts, we got Tim. He's in Wyoming. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me back. I appreciate it. I was thinking about your last caller from China. I was actually very surprised to hear that he's using Skype, and he actually believes that he's acting in a private way in China. That
no, I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that he believed he was private.
I'm not saying that he believes it, but he's able to operate. He's operating as he is for now. I mean, I wouldn't think that he's safe in any way doing what he's doing, but I mean, he's able to access Skype, and I didn't know Skype was run by Microsoft until you were saying it earlier. I had no idea, and I thought, well, I don't like anything to do with Microsoft. Bing, the search engine Bing, just Gates and everything he says and does. He's funding vaccines to kill people, and he believes in, he's a bad guy. But that's all about him. But what I'm saying is, the thing about Android. I think I've probably said this quite a while back, that I thought that Android at its very base was designed to be insecure, or it was insecure because of the hardware that you use that uses Android itself. And I've mentioned before that I've been trying to work out privacy issues and not necessarily privacy issues, but software issues with my phone, my hardware, and I was talking about rooting it before. I wonder if rooting it would actually make any difference. So if you try to erase the software that's using the hardware that can't be changed, will you still be able to? Will you be able to make your phone private or your?
No,
your
I don't think so.
private?
I mean, if there's a privacy violation, if there's some sort of backdoor or set of code that some outsider like the NSA could utilize that is at a low level of the system, then there's no amount of cracking inside the operating system that you're going to be able to do. Some would even say rooting a phone makes it less secure. Now, again, I'm not an expert.
I've heard that too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on these matters. I like to root phones because I just like having more control over my device. I like being able to get rid of the bloatware, which is all the junk that comes on a phone. And if you root your phone, you can do that stuff, uninstall that crap that you never really asked for.
Yeah, and you had actually mentioned about some kind of upgrade of an Android, and my phone did this weird auto upgrade sort of thing a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And it added a bunch of bloatware, stuff that I would love to get rid of, but it will not uninstall.
Yeah, well, the only problem... one of the problems with rooting is you'll violate your warranty as well. So if you root your phone and survive, because there's also
I
the
don't
chance
think
that,
I have a warranty.
well, in that case, then screw it. The only risk then is the risk of a brick. So if you root the phone and you do something wrong, you may what they call brick your phone, which means you turn your phone into a paperweight, basically.
Right, and I don't want to risk having a $100 paperweight.
Right. I mean, the risk. I don't know what the level of risk is. I have bricked a phone with all the various different processes I've done to it, but for the most part, the rooting processes are pretty solid, and they don't generally result in bricks. I don't think I was rooting when I bricked my phone. I think I was doing something else to it entirely. But it may or may not be more secure. But either way, there are risks in life, and the trade-off for convenience is security, unfortunately, when it comes to these things. So if there's something super important or super secret, you probably shouldn't be keeping it on your phone.
Well, that's probably true, but if you can get yourself an iron key, I guess, and encrypt everything and put it on an iron key, which is about $300.
An iron key?
Iron key, yeah. It's an encrypted USB drive. And actually, the NSA hasn't been able to break those. The government uses them.
Interesting. That's the first I've heard of it. Thanks, Tim, for the heads up on that. I appreciate the call. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can bring up anything you want. Josh is in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Josh.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for taking the call.
Great, sir. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the candidacy of Johnson.
Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party's presidential candidate?
Yeah. I'm a little conflicted about him. And the reason why I'm conflicted about him is because, number one, I think that this is a very unprecedented election.
Oh, yeah.
No,
it's weird.
I have never heard of election in my entire life where the primary two candidates of the Republicans and the Democrats are so hated as they are with Trump and Hillary.
These are the two most hated political or most disliked political candidates at the presidential level since polling has been done on favorability ratings of presidential candidates.
Yep.
Exactly. And if a third-party candidate ever has a chance, and in most elections I would say, no, a third-party candidate would never have a chance. But if a third-party candidate would ever have a chance, this is the election that they would have the chance.
Yeah.
And so I'm tempted. I want to support Gary Johnson. I want to vote for Gary Johnson. But at the same time, I'm still conflicted about it because he's not really a libertarian. He believes in a lot of things, I've heard a lot of things about him that just make me not want to support him. But at the same time, it's that kind of lesser of two evil things. Where
right, but really, if you're supporting a third-party candidate, really, should you be supporting the lesser of, fill-in-the-blank number of evils, or should you be voting for someone that you actually believe in and support?
Well, that's the problem. You can't. A true libertarian doesn't have someone in this race that they actually could believe in and support. All you can do is pick the lesser of the evils. There is no one else out there.
Right. I'm not talking about in this race this year. I'm saying, in theory.
In theory, sure.
When you vote, if you're not a Republican or a Democrat, are you not in theory supposed to be voting for someone, not picking the lesser of fill in the blank number of evils?
In theory, but in how many elections?
Why is that the theory? I mean, so there are 4 candidates and you choose the one that you think is best, or there are 2 candidates and you choose the one that why is it because you choose a minor party candidate that suddenly the rules change in your vote?
Well, no, ideally you should be. I agree with Darryl, and hang on, Josh, we can continue the discussion.
Then vote for yourself.
I agree with Darryl that you should choose a candidate that you believe in and that you agree with, but in most cases people don't have that. And the libertarians haven't had that in close to a decade. So then you're forced with this lesser of the evils choice. Free Talk Live.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, call 1-800-958-5345. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, call 1-800-958-5345. That's 1-800-958-5345.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers, not a mega corporation. As a driver with Arcade City, you can keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for or ride with Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. Arcade City is connecting drivers directly with riders and has been making headlines for disrupting the ride-sharing industry. Sign up now at arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, check out freedomsphoenix.com. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedomsphoenix.com. Freedom's with an S. Phoenix. As we go back to Josh in New Hampshire. Josh, you were calling about the Gary Johnson libertarian, put quotes around that, campaign for president, and you're less than enthusiastic about it, and you seem a little frustrated. Go ahead with where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I me personally, I'm more of a Vermin Supreme guy. I'm more of for the last few years, I've been a vote for nobody. I don't care. I don't believe in the political process. I don't think it has any validity at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to. I think that the only thing that a vote can do is send a message, and that message is usually just ignored. So I'm not very confident in any kind of vote. But at the same time, Gary Johnson, because he is a third-party candidate in this election, which is unprecedented, which does have, the major two parties being so hated, the candidates for the major two parties being so hated, I believe that he does actually have a chance, and I feel like I'm obligated in some way to
You're
try
not obligated.
and do it. And no.
And he doesn't really have much of a
feel
chance.
as if I am.
I don't know if I agree with that.
A chance to do what?
I understand he doesn't have that much of a chance, but I feel as if
a chance to do what?
If we can
get elected
to be elected. And
okay, yeah, he does not have a realistic chance to do that.
I hate this. Okay, back that statement up. What makes you think that Gary Johnson has any more or less chance of getting elected than Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are guaranteed to be in the debates hosted by the Commission on Presidential Debates.
And it's possible, quite likely, Gary's polling very well right now, and he could very
If you look at his averages, he's averaging about 8.5%. He needs to average 15. There are some people that say once he hits 15, he's in. That's not true. He needs to average 15% in the polls that the CPD decides they're going to use, and they've not yet said which polls they're going to use. So unless he's in the debates, he has about as much chance of getting elected as me or you.
No, he's on the ballot in 50 states.
Look, every single struggle that has ever been fruitful, every single thing that people have decided, okay, we are going to fight this. There has been a tremendous amount of risk. There has been a tremendous amount of, no, there's no way you're going to actually do this.
Sure.
The thing is, the thing that that I have a problem is that requires a lot of motivation. That requires a lot of principle. And the fact that Gary Johnson doesn't meet that standard of principle is the reason why I have a hard time fighting for him. But at the same time, if he did have that principle, I don't think he would stand as much of a chance as he actually does.
Well, I think that I would agree with you on that. I think that what we're dealing with here is a moment in time that is very unique. We haven't had anything like that. Each one of us here on this show is going to have a different opinion, and we're not going to come to a conclusion with you or each other in this particular call. I can assure you on that one. But the one thing I'd have to say is of the four candidates that are likely to be on the ballot in your state and on the ballot in more than 40 states in the union, which one most most matches your belief system?
Well, Gary Johnson.
Well, if you choose to vote, and I would encourage you to do so, then I would encourage you to vote for the candidate that most matches your value system. That can win.
And there's no doubt that Gary Johnson and Jill Stein have, of all of the elections I've ever witnessed, except for Ross Perot, the most likelihood of actually getting some attention here this time around. Although, Darryl, I think you pointed out that apparently Ralph Nader got quite a bit of votes back in the year 2000.
3 million.
Yes. For the Green Party.
He got about 2.7%.
Which is really good. I mean, that's,
yes.
I had completely forgotten about that. So whether the Green Party can eclipse that this time around, I think still remains to be seen. That's a pretty tough one.
Right now, the polls that I'm seeing, it looks like Jill is averaging about 4.5%.
Yeah, but the Green Party never got a Democrats for the Green Party candidate kind of vote.
Right, that's true.
So Gary Johnson is getting a Republicans for Gary Johnson vote.
Right. There is a group that just formed called Republicans for Johnson Weld.
Uh-huh.
And Mitt Romney had said that if Weld was the head of the ticket, he would have absolutely no problem giving an endorsement. But since Weld is the latter half of Johnson-Weld, he wants to see if Johnson-Weld is going to be included in the debates before he endorses.
I see.
And then there's Cruz too. Cruz is, he talked about he got booed off stage at the Republican convention because he said vote your conscience. But I mean, there's a good chance that he will endorse Gary Johnson.
I don't think that's a realistic chance.
Well, besides, it's hard to get excited about that, and it's really, you got all these Republicans endorsing this guy that doesn't really do anything for me as a libertarian, but I understand what you're saying is that that's going to attract people to Johnson, and then maybe, there's always that possibility that will be their door into the libertarian movement, and maybe they'll learn about principles if they actually Google libertarianism or something like that, because they're certainly not going to learn about the non-aggression principle from Gary Johnson. I don't even think that matters. I think, look, if you're going to be talking about politics, what we're really talking about is we're being held hostage. We're being held hostage by an elite group of statists who believe that violence is completely justified for almost anything.
Something as low as selling loose cigarettes on the street of
violence. You're selling loose cigarettes. Violence is justified. You have a broken taillight, violence is justified. All of these things. And out of all the candidates, the one who statist, who is the least statist, is up there, and you can vote for him. Even though he's not perfect, even though he's not an ideological purist, even though he has his mistakes.
Yep, I suspect I will hold my nose and vote for Gary Johnson.
I can't do it.
This year, you can't bring yourself to do it,
Can't do it.
Well, the difficulty for you is that you ran against him, right? You're on the stage there. You had to do the speechifying.
I couldn't vote for him 4 years ago, and he's even worse now.
Well, I
don't remember who I voted for 4 years ago.
My criteria is they have to have a chance to win.
Who are you voting for?
Who's that? Mark?
Who are you voting for then?
Darryl or Mark?
Me, I'm probably either going to write in none of the above or write myself in. I still haven't decided.
I'll probably go vote for Gary Johnson.
Do you think that none of the above? Do you think that none of the above or yourself has an actual chance as compared to Gary Johnson?
Nope, but none of the above and myself represent what I believe a hell of a lot more than Gary Johnson Bake the Cake does, a lot more than William Weld. We want to make sure that people that are listed as potential terrorists don't get firearms does. That man does not represent me at all.
There was some politician that's quoted it. Hold on just a second.
None of the candidates who have any chance of winning represent you at all. So it really is. It's like
I don't vote for the lesser evils.
It's a trolley problem. Are you going to pull that switch and one guy's going to get killed, or are you going to not pull the switch and four guys are going to get killed?
I'm not going to play your hypothetical of why am I the man being forced to decide to push a button or pull a lever or whatnot. As I said during a debate where I was asked the question of if I could go back and wish that either Alexander Hamilton or Aaron Burr died, I said if I could go back in time, I'd take John McAfee with me, give the guys a hit of acid, and have a good day.
Josh, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. John McAfee was a pretty cool guy. Met him out in San Francisco.
Yes.
I get the frustration, and I still haven't really decided what I'm going to end up doing. I'm glad to see that Johnson and Weld are getting some press attention, but ultimately I don't know if it's good for libertarianism.
It's not good for the Libertarian Party, I'll tell you that.
There's nobody that you're going to agree with 100%. If Darryl had been the candidate...
I pretty much agreed with Harry Brown.
Yeah, well,
on everything.
That's great. Harry Brown's dead. And if Darryl's the candidate, I disagree with him on something. And I'd have to compromise to vote for him.
855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. Share your thoughts.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $3 lower at $1,361 per ounce. Silver is 14 cents lower at $20.54 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $567 US. Gold and silver have been quietly outperforming the stock market all this year. Perhaps it's time for you to diversify your savings. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,364 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $555. Antiwar.com reports in addition to the 10 detainees actually charged with something, Guantanamo Bay continues to hold some 66 detainees totally uncharged with any crime. These detainees have been held for years, many over a decade, and many for no real reason. Musab Omar Ali al-Mudwani, a 36-year-old who arrived at Guantanamo Bay some 14 years ago, did not do anything. Captured during raids targeting foreigners in Karachi, Pakistan, the Pentagon assumed he was part of a six-person al-Qaeda cell in Karachi, so named because they caught 6 people. Lacking evidence, officials eventually dialed back their accusations, and a parole board finally cleared him for release this week. Madwani is the 33rd of the 66 uncharged men that has been approved to be released, though when and even if these 33 will actually be let go remains uncertain, with heavy restrictions even on the release of innocent men from the detention center, making every release a protracted and heavily politicized battle. Ultimately, the number is more likely to go up than down, with 17 more uncharged detainees facing parole hearings and a lot less difficulty in getting someone approved for release than there is in getting someone already approved for release actually out of detention. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Delaware Supreme Court issued a ruling Tuesday that said that the state's law that allows capital punishment as it is presently configured violates the U.S. Constitution. The High Court issued its decision in the test case of a Temple University Law School graduate accused of killing a classmate last year. The problem with Delaware's law, the court concluded, is that the language allows judges to overrule juries and hand out death sentences, a violation of rights guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says juries must unanimously unanimously vote for and independently qualify a convict to be put to death. Delaware's law states that judges are not bound by jury sentencing verdicts in cases they are not constitutionally able to apply the death penalty, thus giving them an unconstitutional final say, according to the court. Tuesday's decision follows a U.S. Supreme Court ruling in January that struck down a similar provision in Florida's death penalty law. Delaware and Alabama are the only other states that have language in the law that allows judges to supplant a jury sentence of life in prison with death. Delaware can continue to put prisoners to death for capital crimes, but only if the General Assembly passes a revised statute that removes the language allowing for judges to overrule a jury. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports a blaze that has scorched some 43,000 acres and destroyed dozens of homes near California's famed Big Sur coast was sparked by an illegal, unattended campfire in a state park, according to authorities. According to U.S. Forest spokesman Don Jacques, the so-called Soberanes fire, which erupted on July 22nd, began as a small blaze 2 feet in diameter, ignited by an unknown individual in a section of the Garapata State Park that was closed to camping and campfires. Jacques added no arrests have been made. The more than 5,400 fire personnel battling the blaze have been able to draw containment lines around only 18% of the wildfire so far, a measure of how much of its perimeter has been cleared by fire crews of unburned vegetation. Steep mountainous terrain as well as hot, dry conditions have hampered efforts to quell the fire, tearing through the drought-parched chaparral, grass, and timber. One person, a bulldozer operator hired by property owners to help battle the flames, died last week when his vehicle rolled over. It was the second California wildfire-related death in a week. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's The Onion Radio News. God loses his decision-making coin. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The Lord God has confirmed that he has misplaced his special decision-making coin. The coin, a relatively unremarkable 1972 nickel, has been used almost daily by the Supreme Being for over 4 billion years for the purpose of determining everything from the direction of the wind to the outcome of history. The visibly distraught God added,
I have no idea where I put it. I remember flipping it last night for a couple in Monroe, Michigan, who were trying to conceive a child, but I haven't seen it since.
God also said he hopes to locate the coin before 7:15 Thursday morning when United Flight 251 takes off from Seattle with actress Dixie Carter on board. Doyle Redland for The Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You're welcome to join us here. Coming up, Edward Snowden and the gift of privacy. Darryl's got the story about that. And you can, of course, join us and bring up whatever's on your mind with you tonight. You've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
We have Skype as well. It's not very private, but it sounds pretty good for radio. So considering we're having conversations on the radio, there's no privacy necessary. You can call us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. We have been talking a lot about privacy here tonight. We'll continue that discussion here in moments. But first, Ralph is on the line, and he's in New Jersey. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live.
I know that I am not going to choose the lesser of two evil in this election because I think Trump was clear when he mentioned about Hillary being the devil. And I have told you before, this animal, El Negro, is with Satan, he's Antichrist, and all of that. And that being said, his minions, the Black Lives Matter, who in my opinion is, a racial terrorist hate entity, is now putting out some kind of a demand. This is akin to, taking America hostage, okay? And the demand is so frivolous and inane. in my opinion. And let me just cite two of the demand that they come out with. Something about stop killing us, okay, and the reparation for slavery. I'm an Asian person. What have I got to do with slavery? As you very well know, the dynamic between Asian and black in this country is not the same as black and white. You know that, right? You know that from the get-go, correct?
I don't know.
Oh, it's not.
Well, I'm letting you know now, okay? So that being said, this whole demand about stop killing us, blacks are killing blacks in this country, okay? When does Black Lives Matter gonna get serious and deal with that existential issue? When
I wonder.
Are they going to get...
I don't know that Black Lives Matter is organized for that particular purpose. It doesn't seem like that's what their concern is.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
But
Thank you. There you go.
I think that that's not what their concern is. Their concern seems to be around police violence. And I can see why somebody says, hey, more black people are being killed by black people than they are being killed by police. But at the same time, if it's your kid that was killed by a police officer, then you're going to be concerned. Some of these killings appear to be legit, and some of them appear not to be. And that's
to be questionable, right? And subject to, a further investigation or prosecution. But more to the point, Mark, we were told in no uncertain term by the black leadership of this country.
I don't think there is black leadership in the country.
Yeah, are there Filipino leaders? Or do you have a leader, Ralph? Who's your leader?
Not really.
Okay, then. Well, then how could you say that there are black leaders?
Yeah, okay. Well, but that being said, we were told, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We were told in no uncertain term, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. I don't see neither of
They
those
can
things
kill what?
happening.
Chew gum.
Oh, chew gum.
Chew gum and walk at the same time.
What does it mean?
Don't worry about the
I don't know, but
issue
Ralph
of
would make a
black
good talk show host, I think. I mean, it would make him...
He can monologue.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the I'll say this before and I'll say it again thing down pretty good. He's got the catchphrases.
Well,
Thanks, Ralph, for the call tonight. Alrighty. 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number. 855-450-3733.
I wonder if he'd be better if...
He'd be better on Skype. I could barely understand a word the guy says.
If his accent would be somehow muted if he was sort of on the mics that we're on, if we could be sort of more understandable.
Yes, I think that would be the case.
Yeah, but there you go.
Speaking of people getting shot by the police, there's a recent story about a young lady named Corinne Gaines who was visited by a SWAT team over an unpaid traffic fine. During the standoff, police ordered that Facebook turn off Gaines's Facebook and Instagram accounts in an effort to prevent her from streaming live video to her friends. The police then shot and killed Ms. Gaines and shot her young child, who was hospitalized. Afterwards, without access to social media, the victim had no opportunity to record and stream what transpired in her apartment. I mean, wow. How shocking that the police actually called Facebook during this entire thing to have this woman shut off so she could not communicate with her friends on the outside.
Yeah, it's Facebook that the police, I'm not surprised. Facebook, they shouldn't be doing that.
Well, will be great, but most of these mega corporations have no principles whatsoever and will do whatever it is the police ask them to do because they don't want to be seen as not cooperating with law enforcement.
Well, they're not cooperating with their users. I mean, this lady wanted to stream on their platform, right?
I brought this up because of the story from Cell 411, which came out today over at truthvoice.com, where they point out here that Cell 411 would have allowed this lady to stream. Cell 411 is an emergency management platform and mobile app which allows users to alert trusted contacts in the case of an emergency, whether it's a medical emergency, a car breakdown, police interaction, or government abuse. The app can alert trusted contacts in real time with the type and exact location of the emergency, allowing users to avoid interaction with police if possible and only involve individuals they trust. The app has been gaining traction in crime-ridden countries like South Africa and has been used to build neighborhood watch groups and activist groups around the world. Furthermore, Cell 411 allows users to stream live video and audio to potentially thousands or tens of thousands of users, allowing them to download the video stream by a friend to a local device. The video can be distributed to large numbers of users in real time, making it impossible to be completely erased from any servers. To add to this impressive list of features, the latest release of Cell 411 will allow users to stream live video to their own Facebook wall and YouTube live channel and the Cell 411 official TV channels on Facebook and YouTube. These features increase the distribution footprint for video streams, making it even more difficult for evidence to be removed or erased. So with Cell 411, you can stream out first and foremost to Cell 411's network, but also stream to Facebook and YouTube. So even if they pull the plug from Facebook, you've still got the Cell 411 stream that's continuing on, because Cell 411 is made by Virgil Viduva, and he is a listener of Free Talk Live, great privacy advocate, huge freedom advocate. He's not going to compromise. He's not going to cooperate with the police.
It's primarily an activist tool.
Yeah, but that was why I think he initially created it, but it's more than that. It's far more than activists.
Well, primarily means first, and first it was an activist tool. I mean,
sure.
I'll concur with you that it is much more now.
The features increase the distribution footprint, and the video is also saved on the local device in case a forensic copy needs to be recovered at a later time, which I believe is an option they just added, which I'm really happy to see. The Cell 411 app does allow users to stream video to connected Cell 411 users or save it, so on and so forth. Anyway, a great app. I love it. And I've recently announced that Cell 411 is now my preferred go-to app for activism.
Yeah, you've gone ahead and endorsed it.
Yeah, it's it was great, and now it's better. Now that they've added the Facebook and the YouTube connections, that was one of the things they didn't have for a while, that now they do, and it just makes it an all-in-one best activist app out there. There's nothing like it. Nothing can come close. There are some imitators out there, but we don't know who those designers are. We don't know who's making the imitators. We know Virgil. He's a great guy, and he's poured a lot of his heart and his money and his time into this app. It's not making him any money. So I'm pretty sure he's just sustaining the thing. I don't know what the costs are every month, but
it has backers.
Does it? Okay, good. Because it's awesome. So go get it at getcell411.com. And again, GetCell411. It's also available through your app stores, Google and iOS.
When I'm looking at my Cell 411 right now, Ian, and how does one begin streaming? It doesn't seem necessarily intuitive or easy.
Well, I'm not.
It's when you send out alert. So if you go on there and you put, "I got pulled over by police," it will then ask the question,
if you want to stream.
I see.
So there you go. Yeah, it does. It does require some practice. You should take some time to learn the ins and outs of Cell 411. Maybe create a practice group with some of your friends where you know that any alerts sent to the practice group aren't real, so you don't freak out because you think someone's house is burning down or something like that. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That allows you to join us. Coming up, Edward Snowden, the gift of privacy. Darryl will tell us about it. You can join us as well. Bring up anything you want here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. You can take control. Free Talk Live.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-939-5479. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-939-5479. 1-800-939-5479.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us on the radio waves here. Toll-free numbers 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Got a couple of messages in the voicemail box that I actually haven't taken the time to listen to yet, but you can actually send them to us because we're kind of crowdsourcing the voicemails as well. Mark and Darryl and I all receive these things. So when you send us a voicemail through our new audio on-demand listen line, we might just use it on the air. So if you've got some feedback you want to give us but you aren't able to call us live, then you can call us on the audio demand listen line. Go to, or punch this into your phone, 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. It'll give you a menu of shows when you call in. And you can listen to LRN.FM's live stream anytime. You can also listen to nearly a dozen shows from LRN.FM on demand. So whenever you want, you can hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live or the Rebel Love Show or Cop Block Radio. There's a bunch of them in there on that list. When you press number 2 for Free Talk Live, and if you hit 0 after that, anytime you can hit 0. So you can be listening for a while and you hear us talking about something and you want to give us some feedback, hit 0, leave us a message. It'll be delivered via email. It works for any phone. You don't need a smartphone for this. It's just a regular phone call. So if you've got unlimited long distance, there's no cost to you for using this service if you have unlimited long distance, and almost everyone does if they've got a cell phone these days. So the number 641-793-9660. Remember the days when you actually had to pay per minute for long distance on a cell phone?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yep, so not anymore for the most part. So again, that saves your data plan so you can still use your data for other things. 641-793-9660, and let's go to the phones, to the fun. Then we'll talk about privacy and Edward Snowden. First, Tom is in New Hampshire. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I just want to suggest an approach to respond to these people who are debating, because Donald Trump is so bad that they got to vote for hillbilly because they mean voting for the some other party candidate, they're just worried, what if they don't win? And they got to stop Donald Trump. And the approach we need to use is this. If you vote for Hillbilly Clinton, you're just as guilty as the rest of them that vote for Hillary, for her. It's your fault if she gets elected. But classifying them, see, people don't like to be classified along with the ignorant masses that vote for Hillary. See, so
are you endorsing Trump?
No. I'm saying if you vote for Hillary, you're just as guilty as the rest of them that vote for Hillary. See, so that way.
And you would say the same thing about Trump then?
Yeah, so if people who don't like Hillary, so they're going to vote for Trump because they figure a third-party candidate cannot win? No, the reason they don't win is because you vote against them. If you do that, you're just as guilty as the rest of them that vote for Trump.
So who are you endorsing?
I'm saying that this is the approach to get people to vote for third-party candidates.
So you're just saying any third-party candidate better than Hillary or Trump. You're not picking one at this point. You have not yet decided.
Tom's pretty good at massaging the message, and that's what he's doing here.
I'm not endorsing a particular candidate of a particular presidential candidate, but I'm just the way to answer this nonsense about how we've got to stop Donald Trump, which is true. And my approach, by the way, is at the Republican State Convention when they're going to say, okay, next order of business is to nominate these 4 hand-picked Republican big shots to the Electoral College, and they promise they'll vote for Donald Trump. All in favor say aye. Usually that's a routine matter, and it passes without controversy. But my approach is this time they have to vote that down and nominate 4 people who will vote for somebody else, and that could
that's not going to happen.
Into the House of Representatives.
I suppose it could, in theory, happen in New Hampshire, where the Republicans have been infiltrated by liberty activists.
Mark, you're a Republican delegate.
Oh, jeez.
What were your thoughts on the likelihood of getting people that are not connected very tightly to the higher-ups in the party named as electors?
Well, it wouldn't be very easy.
Thanks, Tom, for your call tonight. Appreciate it. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So, Darryl, let's go back into privacy. We started the show out talking about private computers that are being crowdfunded right now. You can go to computer.freetalklive.com to learn more about that. But Edward Snowden is in the news, or at least in your story that you want to share.
Yeah, so it's an article from Salon.com, and I wanted to save this for a night that Mark was here, since Mark is a parent with custody of his child, because the article is titled, "The Gift of Privacy, How Edward Snowden Changed the Way I Parent."
Okay.
The author of the article says, "My son is 14 today, and for his birthday, in addition to a bicycle, a basketball, and a T-shirt with an obscurely offensive image, I am giving him the gift of privacy, and I'm giving him the gift of Snowden." That's right. Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower and hero to some, traitor to others, has changed not only the way I view privacy, but also the way I view my teens' privacy and the way I safeguard it from myself. When Snowden's revelations about mass government surveillance made headlines in 2013, I, like many Americans, was shocked and disturbed. The PRISM program, in which the communications of millions of Americans were collected and stored by the government without warrant or probable cause, seemed to violate the Constitution's Fourth Amendment, which prohibits warrantless search and seizure. The argument that the innocent should have nothing to fear from such a program rang hollow to me and many others in post-McCarthy-era America. Then, in March, as part of a research on another story I'm writing, I listened to a live conversation on privacy between Snowden, a constitutional lawyer and co-founder of The Intercept, Glenn Greenwald, and historian and linguist Noam Chomsky. While the conversation between these 3 thought leaders fascinated me, it was the remarks of 33-year-old Snowden that affected me the most profoundly. Privacy, he asserted, is the right to self. Privacy is the right to a free mind. He went on to explain that privacy is what allows us to determine our beliefs without being influenced by others, subject to peer pressure, or judged before those beliefs are fully formed. Without privacy, Snowden added, at no time are you permitted to have a space that is only just for you. Consider that statement for just a moment. Without privacy, at no time are you permitted to have a space that is only just for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Greenwald reinforced this when he explained that people secure their homes and rooms with locks and their emails and social media with passwords, in part to ensure that there is a place that they can go in the world to think and reason and explore without the judgmental eyes of other people being cast upon them. When we lose privacy, we lose a really critical part of what it means to be an independent and free individual. All of this was relevant to the research I was doing for my story, but as I listened, I realized it was equally relevant to my role as a parent.
All right, I want to hear more about this here. And if you're a parent,
I'm already skeptical.
You're certainly free to weigh in. Now, Mark, it was mentioned that you have custody. You're actually with your wife still, so you and your wife are still with your son. We'll continue with your thoughts, and we'll see what else Snowden has to say. Where was the story from again?
Salon.com.
Salon. Okay, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. The Skype username is LRN.FM. You can join us here on Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's
the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us on the radio waves here. You can take control of the airwaves with toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. With you in studio, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, we've got our own crowdfunding campaign going on right now for the satellite fundraiser. We're at 5% of our goal.
Woohoo!
We're not quite to the point of where we were last year, but last year we had the benefit of a video that could be shared around, and, well, the FBI stole the video content from us before I could put it online. So, sadly, we're without video this year. I'm hoping we can reach the same level that we reached last year. We want to continue satellite broadcasting to North and Central America, to Sub-Saharan Africa, and if we can afford it, add in a third channel which would cover all of Europe and a good chunk of Russia and the Middle East and North Africa as well, all with one satellite signal, but it's a little bit more expensive than our current venues. And so we need your help. Go to fund.lrn.fm, because if it's not worth it to you, maybe it shouldn't be worth it to us. If you don't think that the vision of broadcasting the ideas of liberty and peace to as many countries in the world as possible is valuable, then maybe we shouldn't do it. But we do have people who do believe in it, and there are several people who've contributed so far. Thank you to everyone who has ponied up over at fund.lrn.fm. Really appreciate the assistance, and we still have about 2.5 weeks left here in the fundraiser, so there's still plenty of time for you to get in there, grab some of the perks. There are some benefits, like being able to sit in on your favorite LRN.FM show as they produce their show. There's a bunch of shows that stepped up to offer that. Callan Diggs from Reaching the Finish Line is offering some freebies, and we're going to have an announcement about you, Darryl, coming up here later this week.
Good.
You're going to be giving away a bunch of cool stuff to our contributors. So those haven't been added to the perks yet, but those are coming. So by the end of the week, we'll get to that. You can go and contribute right now at fund.lrn.fm. It's an Indiegogo-based fundraiser, and so that means that when it's all over and done with, even if we don't reach the goal, which I highly doubt we will, we'll still be able to keep most of the money contributed after Indiegogo takes their chunk out from it. So please go to fund.lrn.fm and contribute what you can. $5 is fine. The first level for perks is $25, and we may be adding a lower level perk than that, with the addition of Darryl's benefits coming up later on. We'll let you know when that happens. And we'll continue with Darryl's story here in a moment about privacy and parenting. But first, it's Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
You know what? I was thinking, the handicaps here in Albuquerque, they could actually sue for the such a narrow sidewalks on Central Boulevard.
Wait.
Because,
Who can be sued? The handicapped people or the government of Albuquerque?
I'm talking about the city of Albuquerque, because the sidewalks are like 3.5 feet wide. There's no room to fit a handicap, and to on the corner they can't even turn around to cross the street because there's not enough space.
3.5 feet seems as wide as a wheelchair might be.
Yeah, I believe doors only have to be 30 inches wide to be able to fit a wheelchair through.
The Americans
on the corner, they can't turn around, and if they have a wider go-go chair, they can't fit. And to me, they could have a legitimate, American with Disability Act non-compliance.
So how wide should a sidewalk be?
Well, the standard sidewalk right now is like 6 feet to 7 feet. That's supposed to be the code, the current Albuquerque sidewalk code.
How wide does Sarah think the sidewalk should be?
Well, you know what? I think 7 7 feet would be enough because
is that narrow enough to make sure that a car couldn't drive up onto the sidewalk completely?
That's about as wide as a car. Cars are what, 7, 8 feet wide, something like that.
Well, the reason is because a lot of them we don't have bicycle lanes. So a lot of times we have to share the same sidewalk with a bicyclist. So I usually have to kind of, they either have to ring the bell so I know that they're behind me, they have to stop so they don't run me over, and I have to see them coming. I have to step off the sidewalk. But I think if it's at least 7 feet wide, we could kind of wiggle ourselves around. A lot of times we don't have bicycle paths.
I'm pretty sure bicycles are not supposed to be on sidewalks, but the American with Disabilities Act is kind of unique in legislation in that it's a set of rules that basically handicapped people can sue to enforce, as opposed to regulations that are enforced by some regulatory body. There is no body that enforces the American with Disabilities Act. It's enforced by handicapped people who want to sue.
Is the ADA, like a lot of other rules and regulations, written in such a way as to where it exempts government bodies?
I don't know. I can't answer, but I would be kind of curious if, for instance, you have this 3.5 foot sidewalk that's been there for 30 years or whatever the period of time is that would, say, exempt it under a normal set of legislation.
Yep.
But because of the ADA, now everything has to be up to, the standards of the ADA. I think that's kind of difficult for municipalities to comply with because, I don't know, there may be buildings on one side and a road on the other. Do we have to make sidewalks so thin that only one car or so wide that only one car can go down the middle of the road at a time? I don't know. It doesn't really. It's a system that wouldn't work.
The entire downtown of Albuquerque should be one giant sidewalk, and there should not be any roads.
Well,
would that be okay with you, Sarah?
No, I would like. I don't mind some cars, but I think that we need to widen the sidewalk, and that's the reason why that I support the ART project. Since they're going to put the bus line anyways, and the widening of the sidewalk.
Nobody knows what the ART project is. The ART project is something that's going on in Albuquerque, and it's not specific to people.
Sarah calls in about it all the time.
It stands for something Rapid Transit.
Albuquerque Rapid Transit.
Yeah, but Sarah, so what's important here is the question is, so are there stores on one side? These 3.5 foot sidewalks. Is there a whole bunch of grass between, the sidewalk and the stores that people can go into? Or exactly what's going on here? If they put in 7 foot sidewalks, would they be going into the street?
What I'm trying to tell you is that the ART project is about when they redo the whole Central Boulevard, the widening of the sidewalk is part of the project. And I think the ADA should go and sue because the other people, the business people, are suing and counter-sue.
The ADA can't sue.
Them from
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The ADA can't sue. It is
only the crippled people could sue.
Right. Handicapped people can sue based on the rules of the ADA, but the
ADA is the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's a piece of legislation. Legislation is unable to file lawsuits.
There are probably ADA lawyers out there who would be interested in taking cases like that. But handicapped people presumably for decades have managed to get around in Albuquerque without too much difficulty. There are a variety of solutions out there for them. You can always, take handicap-accessible buses or, cabs or whatever. Here in New Hampshire, there are some streets that don't even have sidewalks on them. So somebody in a wheelchair, there's a guy in a wheelchair that lives in this neighborhood. He's just wheels around the streets. Not a problem.
A quick Google search for width of sidewalks in Albuquerque took me to the City of Albuquerque's website, featured projects, ADA improvement to sidewalks. So they're already improving the sidewalk. So, this seems absolutely redundant and repetitive and absolutely unnecessary to call in to say they should do something that they're doing.
Thanks, Sarah. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. I remember years ago in Sarasota, Florida, where I grew up, my mom owns a thrift store in downtown, and they widened the street that was Fruitville Road, I believe. They widened that street to the point where they actually had to shave off a portion of the building.
Right. They used eminent domain on your mother's business.
So they literally
A
took
libertarian
down,
is born.
No, she's not a libertarian.
No, not her. It was your mom's business.
Right. I was already alive, though, when that happened. Anyway, they shaved.
You were a libertarian?
No, I was a kid.
That's what I'm saying. The libertarian was born.
You became a libertarian after they shaved off your mom's business.
I see what you're saying now. I thought you meant somebody was born. Anyway, yeah, they literally shaved off a portion, and now there's a relatively small sidewalk out in front, and if they were to widen it again, they'd take off even more of the building. It's crazy. And that shouldn't happen to people who've put a business down or trying to make things better and provide jobs. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of "what happened today at school," try "what was the best thing that happened today?" The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us here in the reigning moments of the show. We have enough time for you if you want. You can join us here at 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733 or Skype in. Skype username is LRN.FM. You can join us online anytime you want. Just head over to freetalklive.com. Get interactive there. Totally free to do that. But if you like what we're doing on Free Talk Live, then please become an amplifier. It's a great way to support the program and get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, which is pretty cool. It's always full of new stuff. Seems like every single day new posts are being made to the Facebook group. Also, the AMP-only podcast and more. Get all the details. Get signed up at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month, and that's the cost of a fancy cup of coffee these days. So if you can afford that, to send it our way, forego a hamburger or the fancy cup of coffee, we would appreciate it. It makes a big difference for us when you do that. So thank you in advance. And again, you get the perks too. So go to amp.freetalklive.com to get signed up there with any major credit card through PayPal or Visa or MasterCard right there on the site. That's amp.freetalklive.com. As we continue here, Darryl, your story that you'd started earlier in the hour was about parenting and Edward Snowden introducing us to the concept of privacy. The author from Salon was listening to Snowden speak in a panel discussion, and really it hit home with him about how to, I guess, treat his son, was it, or his kids?
Son.
All right.
Yeah, so let me reread the statement specifically that they say. Consider again this statement. Without privacy, at no time are you permitted to have a space that is only just for you. The author goes on to say, like many other parents in the digital age, I had adopted and imperfectly enforced various rules regarding my son's use of media. In fact, it is an issue that has dominated my thinking about parenting and my conversations with other parents. Kids' media use is the subject of numerous studies, books, and articles. When my son spent the summer mowing lawns and pet sitting so that he could purchase his first smartphone at the age of 13, I asserted the right to randomly monitor his online activity and communications.
Like a jail warden.
I demanded his passwords, followed him and his girlfriend on Instagram, and periodically checked his search history, read his text messages, and strictly forbade the use of Snapchat. Likely this was appropriate at his age at the time. I certainly was in keeping with conventional wisdom, if there can be such a thing when the technologies involved are so new. An informal poll of parents in the middle-class progressive neighborhood suggests that many parents are fairly vigilant about monitoring social media, reading text, and setting up parental controls on all electronic devices. And their reasons for doing so are valid and related to concerns for their children's safety. Here are just a few of the fears that dog 21st century parents. Adult predators, cyberbullies, porn addiction, and legal liability for teens caught sexting. In short,
what's the legal liability for teens caught sexting?
Child porn felony charges.
That's
possible.
Not for the parents. That's for the kids.
Right. They're worried about their kids.
So the parents are concerned about their children.
The kids' legal liability.
Right.
Gotcha.
In short, we monitor our kids' online behavior for the same reason we make them wear a bicycle helmet, to protect them. I cannot help but notice, however, this is the exact same reason the NSA and other federal agencies give for mass surveillance programs like PRISM and Stellar Wind. They are protecting us.
I'd point out,
that's what they'd like you to believe.
Not to disparage what the author says here, but libertarianism is a theory, a moral theory that has to do with the people. Adults can do what they wish as long as they don't harm anyone else. It doesn't really apply to children.
I disagree.
Okay, well.
The non-aggression principle doesn't have a qualifier for adults. The non-aggression principle is the basis of libertarianism, which says essentially that you should not use aggressive force against other peaceful people to force them to do things against their will or force them to not do things that they want to do. Again, as long as consent is involved. Now the question is, when can someone consent?
Usually, the term consenting is followed by adults, right?
Okay, but it's not in this case.
All right,
and it also depends on how you define adult. Are you defining adult as someone on their 18th birthday
or their 12th, like the Jews do, right?
They're 17 years, 365 days, 23 hours, and 59 seconds. They are not an adult, but midnight
Illegal.
strikes, and all of a sudden, bada boom, bada bing, we've got presto.
Now they're mature.
It's a good question.
Now they're mature.
I would say that a parent is probably the most qualified person besides the individual to decide when they're an adult. And I would say the individual is an adult only when they can take care of themselves. So that means to me that the 30-year-old guy who's in his mother's basement who can't pay his bills is not an adult, frankly.
Okay. So would you say that the 80-year-old who has Alzheimer's that is no longer able to take care of himself has somehow regressed to no longer being an adult?
Yeah, there are certainly legal precedences, which says to me that people who've spent some time thinking about this would say that yes, that adults, that you have to be able to sort of consent and be cognizant to be an adult. I get where you're saying that how can one not be an adult after one has been an adult? However, I think there are a different category of people that are going to have a difficult time consenting. So, Ian, about consent, you wouldn't say that the 5-year-old who wants to get in the creepy candy truck should be able to make that choice, right?
Generally, I don't think 5-year-olds are particularly capable of making informed decisions.
So
for
somewhere
themselves.
between 5 and 18 is where we're talking about, right?
I don't pick ages, Mark. It's all based on individuals and what they decide they want for themselves.
Okay.
So if someone wants to emancipate themselves, I think they should have the freedom to do that.
The problem is that so when someone wants to emancipate themselves, they also have to deal with all the difficulties that come along with being free. And so a kid, a 13-year-old who has a smartphone, by that parent's standard, they're not emancipated. They're living at home.
No, but one thing's for sure. If you're going to be a Nazi with the kid's phone, they're going to want to emancipate themselves
They're
sooner.
going to get privacy one way or another, right? Yeah. They're going to figure out privacy in one manner or another. Let's go on with this story.
Yeah, let me actually skip down here a little bit. She says, for instance, one night when he was sleeping over with a friend, I checked his Instagram page and noticed that an image he had posted of himself had attracted more than 200 mostly derogatory comments, and the insults and threats were still coming. These included bullying and name-calling on the part of high school boys threatening to beat up my middle school-age son. My first instinct was to intervene immediately. Here was exactly the kind of situation that I'd read about and dreaded. As I monitored the comment thread, however, I saw that my son was standing up for himself and holding his own. I saw that his friends had his back. In short, I saw that he was handling it and did not need my help. On another occasion, I read a text message in which a friend offered to send my son a naked pic of a girl they both knew. He texted, "Hell no." I felt reassured. Nonetheless, my policy of random surveillance remained in place. Without warning or probable cause, I could and did read his private communications, checked his search history, and monitored his social media use. Normal, prudent, and part and parcel of my responsibility as a parent in the digital age, right? Perhaps, but consider these parenting policies in light of the following passage from George Orwell's 1984. There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment, how often or on what system the thought police plugged in on any individual wire was guesswork. It was even conceivable that they watched everybody all the time, but at any rate they could plug in your wire whenever they wanted to. You have to live, did live, and from habit that became instinct, in the assumption that every sound you made was overheard, and except in darkness, every movement scrutinized. I have been acting, in effect, as the thought police in my son's life. Now consider the developmental task of the adolescent, who is deep in the alchemical process of creating a unique self and personality, developing personal beliefs and a value system. In light of this, Snowden's words struck me like a revelation and resonated with the recent experience in which I had intruded and intervened in one of my son's relationships.
Well, I'd say that, I wouldn't put my son in a car and say, go on about your business and conduct yourself like an adult. Like, that would be a completely irresponsible thing to do. And in the same way, I don't expect to put my son on the internet and say, hey, good luck with this whole adulthood thing. I hope you don't get
So
whatever problems might
skipping down here, she says, as of today, on his 14th birthday, I'm giving my son the gift of privacy. I will no longer monitor his private communications or online behavior or history unless I have probable cause, meaning reasonable suspicion that he is actually in danger or involved in criminal activity.
Which, if you've got a good relationship with him, he'll come to you if there's some sort of danger and inform you.
This certainly starts before the age of 13.
This is an interesting discussion, and I wish we had more time for it tonight. Maybe we'll continue it on another time, because I know you had something about helicopter parents, Darryl, so maybe we'll get to that on Friday. We'll see you in the meantime.
Free Talk Live.
If anybody else wanted to know how to do it, y'all gave them the information, and plus how to get illegal drugs, how to get hand grenades, and I mean, this is a free country, but I don't, but you gave out web addresses, Silk something.
The Silk Road is a revolutionary website that allows people to buy from the black market in a much safer manner than they currently buy, and I'm all about harm reduction, Bob. I think that reducing
this is
harm...
great for a free country. Let's get everybody on to safer illegal drugs.
Do you think anybody did crack after watching our show that had never done it before?
That's part of your liberty, that because it's okay with a lot of people, let's make sure we have it. Let's keep advertising.
No, I think that it is not my right to tell you what is right or wrong to put in your body, and nor is it your business to tell me what is right or wrong to put in my body or what I'm going to do with my uterus.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cop Block Radio is up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,364 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $555. Antiwar.com reports, in addition to the 10 detainees actually charged with something, Guantanamo Bay continues to hold some 66 detainees totally uncharged with any crime. These detainees have been held for years, many over a decade, and many for no real reason. Musab Omar Ali al-Mudwani,